Good evening, good morning, and good day. And thank you so much for once again choosing to spend a little bit of your time with me. Today we are back in the garage doing a bit more work. I've had this idea for ages. I wanted to make my nephew a Rainmaker. So just a traditional wooden instrument made out of wood. What am I saying? Rambling already. A Rainmaker, as I'm saying. So my plan was to take this bit of wood, split it in half, empty out the insides with a chisel and my Dremel, and then fill it with seeds and stick it back together. So come chill with me on this interesting little journey. As you probably saw from the starting clips, it turned out quite nicely. Now, about halfway through sawing this, my dad did point out to me that I'm a bit of an idiot. I could have just taken 2 bits of wood that are already the right size because we have loads lying about. But, I like the exercise. It's good for you. As I've said before, sawing a bit of wood for a while can be very cathartic. And look at that. What a perfect result, eh? So now it was time to hollow out the insides. I am no good with a chisel. I'm terrible with a chisel. Not gonna lie. And as you can see, my vise was not working particularly well. It's not the right kind of vise for this sort of work. So, yeah. But I struggled on. Did what I could. Came across a few hefty knots and burls, but those you just gotta be careful. Put a bit of energy and force into it, and you'll get through them. When using a chisel, if you do something like this, be incredibly careful. They are razor sharp. You never, ever, ever want to point a chisel towards yourself or towards your legs. Just do be careful when using a chisel. And then I had a bit of difficulty finding the right head for the Dremel. I lost the head that I was actually looking for. But then found this sort of drill bit sort of fitting for it. Stuck that in there and that just worked absolutely wonderfully. Ate through the wood like nothing. Like nobody's business. And again, when using a Dremel, do be careful. Wearing a mask and visor at this point because I didn't want to inhale any of the dust and I don't want any shards of wood flying into my eye. Splinters aren't fun at the best of times. Splinters in your eye are even less fun. I've learnt that one the hard way a couple of times. I am a lot more protective over my eyes these days than I used to be. I had a very good friend, and whilst doing some metal work one day, just a quick bit of metal work, he was normally careful, normally put the visor on, but just a quick bit of metal work, didn't think he'd need it, and ended up in the opticians, having his eyes held open by a pair of nurses as the optician, one by one, removed the shards of metal from his eyeball using a tiny pair of tweezers. No anaesthetic, nothing they could do for that. They couldn't risk putting him under for that. He had literal rust circles forming on his eyeball. Did make a full recovery from that, but had he left it a day longer, he'd have been completely blind in that eye. So, do wear PPE, personal protective equipment, when doing this sort of work. So it's all glued up now, and it's got the seeds inside it, and I'm just wiping off the excess glue, and I left it in this vise for about 8 hours, and then it was time to take it out. So now I wanted to take off the harsh corners because I'm giving this to my nephew. I want it to be tough and strong so that he can whack it into things, but have no splinters, no harsh edges. Just make it as safe and practical as possible. He's 1 year and 5 months old, so things need to be safe for him. Time for a bit of the sandpaper. Here I was just scraping and rubbing away for about half an hour. Just sanding. Getting it to a really nice finish. As I sanded, it revealed some really nice patterns within the wood and brought out its lovely colour. I think I am going to paint it. I haven't painted it yet, but I think I will get some nice, tough outdoor paint and give it a coat of that at some point. Because I think if it was a nice bright red or a bright yellow, that would look great. Bit more sanding. Just sanding. Should have been wearing a mask at this point, but I wasn't because I'm an idiot. And I, did have a bit of a sandy mouth after this. Starting to get frustrated with the sanding process at this point, but never avail. Just carry on going, working your way through the grits. I think I was at a 240 grit now. Just getting it to a much nicer finish. And working my way through the grits. I think 300 or 320, I can't remember what now. A grit of sandpaper. Look at that intense slow-mo sanding action. The sand launching, sawdust launching into the air. Epic. Oh, I do make myself laugh. I'm glad you guys have been enjoying these. I am incredibly flattered by the comparisons to Bob Ross. No joke. That means the world. And I'd quickly like to say a massive thank you to my subscribe stars, Philip B. Overmeyer, Legion, Simpa Ulia, Yasha Doom, Brody Reed, and Fruit Shoot. Thank you so much, guys, for your support. And if you'd like to join them, and if you'd like to come join a Discord of complete insane nut jobs like myself, then head on over to Subscribestar. And with all that done, I added a bit of string, and the Rainmaker for now is finished. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I will catch you in a bit.